guys, it's April from Getting Hookah With It. Today I wanted to talk to you about the books that people from Booktube have made me run out, buy, or grab from the library and read immediately. One of the things that I love about being in the Booktube community is stumbling upon books that I never would have read otherwise. This is basically my thank you to these Booktubers for giving me some really awesome books. So the first person I need to thank is Jen Campbell. In one of her videos about good reads to read in the winter time, she recommended The Winter People. The Winter People follows an old legend from Vermont where this woman, Sarah, was found dead in her backyard, essentially in this field in 1908 after her daughter had died just months before. It also follows present-day Ruthie, who actually lives in Sarah's house. Now Ruthie lives with her mom and her younger sister, and her mom one day just goes missing. She doesn't know where she is. She's just gone. Ruthie happens upon a very old diary, and the diary was written by Sarah from 1908. And she is diving into what happened to Sarah reading this, and she's also trying to figure out where her mother has gone. It's a really eerie, unsettling read. I really loved it, and I have to thank Jen Campbell. If you aren't following Jen already, she will hook you up with some amazing reads. The next person that I have to thank is Rose Mannering. Rose is a writer. About a year ago, I read her book called Roses, and it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's also YA, and I usually don't go for retellings of fairy tales. I don't know why. I'm not attracted to them usually, and I don't read a lot of YA. But I had been watching Rose's channel for a little while, and I really liked her and all of her recommendations, so I picked it up, and honestly I was so blown away. I loved Roses so much. It's the first in a trilogy. The second book that she's come out with is Feathers, which I haven't read yet, but I am so grateful that I read Roses. It was wonderful, very different take on the Beauty and the Beast story. I loved it. Next, I have to thank Julie from A Girl and a Book. She recommended The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet on her channel, and I remember her talking about the characters and how much she just fell in love with these characters. And I have to agree, because this story is a sci-fi novel, and it follows this group of really quirky characters on a spaceship, and they essentially, their mission is to punch holes in the universe to make trips for ships go a little bit faster. They're basically like shortcuts that they're punching into the universe. This book is really cool because it's not insanely fast-paced. It's definitely more of a character-driven story, but I'm telling you, you fall in love with these characters. I think only 2 of them are actually human, and then the rest are different species. And one thing that's really cool about this book is humans are kind of low on the totem pole of all of the species in the world, which is a nice twist because our world definitely doesn't work that way. It's such a great book, and I cannot thank Julie enough. Next up, I need to thank Katie from Life Between Words. She had recommended it. It made her top 10 books of 2016. She kept talking about how the characters were amazingly well developed and that Stephen King is a master storyteller. And she gave me the little push that I needed to pick this book up, and I'm so glad that I did. It follows a group of kids, and there is a monster slash clown out there that's terrorizing this town and killing a bunch of kids. And they think that they've beat it, but like 26 or 27 years later, they're adults and they find out, oh no, it's back and we have to go back to our hometown to try and kill this thing again. It is a big book. It's, I think, 1,200 pages. So it's a bit of a chunker, and it's my first Stephen King, so I just kind of went all out with this one. I have to agree with Katie on the characters. I think part of what I love about this book are all of these characters that are so fleshed out. They all have their own backstories. You know, the monster might pull them together as a group of kids, but they also have all of these other depths to them that I really love. I'm loving it. So thank you, Katie. Next, I want to thank Ariel Bessette. She recommended So You've Been Publicly Shamed. So You've Been Publicly Shamed has really actually shaped me and how I approach social media now. It's all about how shaming on this mass scale that we now have access to with social media can actually really destroy people's lives and cause some real damage. So it's totally changed me, and I really need to thank Ariel for that. The next person I need to thank is Stephanie from That's What She Read. She had recommended Night Film for people who are a bit afraid of horror novels. Night Film follows a reporter who had been keeping a close eye on a particular horror film director. Now, this horror film director, he directs movies that are very underground. He has a huge underground fan base, but his movies are so disturbing they can't be released to the mass public. So this man's daughter has been found dead. The police are saying that she committed suicide because she was mentally disturbed. And this reporter thinks that, you know what, maybe her dad has something to do with this. So he dives into the story. All of the recounting of people who have met Ashley, this woman who's been killed, they're all incredibly creepy. I remember reading this book really quickly, just wanting to get to the next scene where Ashley might appear in it. It was really amazing, so thank you, Stephanie. The last person I need to thank so much is Katie from Chapter Stacks for recommending Bird Box. She recommended this because it was one of her favorite horror novels that she'd read. She had described this book as both mentally and physically horrifying, and I could not agree more. This is my favorite horror novel I've ever read. It follows a world where you can't go outside, because if you go outside and you see the thing that's out there, you inexplicably either kill other people or you kill yourself. You most definitely do kill yourself in the end. So people are, people are staying indoors for great lengths of time, and if they do go outside, they have to blindfold themselves. So this follows a woman who has been in this house with her 2 children for a very long time. They're running out of food, and she'd heard about this safe house down the river. There's this river behind her house that she's staying at. So she grabs her kids, puts blindfolds on them and herself, and she gets into a boat and she goes. And it kind of flashes back as well in time when she was pregnant and when this epidemic just started. It is by far my favorite horror novel of all time, and I have to thank Katie for that one because, my God, it's blown my mind. So those are all of the booktubers that I needed to thank very much for some really awesome reads. That's one of the things that I love so much about this community. You stumble upon books that you might never have read otherwise, and it's all because of people just talking about books. It's so nice to have a little community of people who just love reading, like me and like you. So I hope you go and check out these booktubers. They're amazing. You won't regret subscribing to any of their channels. I hope this video finds you well. I will see you next time. Bye!